This video can help you earn over £30,000. Yes, listen for how you can earn £30,000 per year. Keep listening. Hello and welcome to Vogue IT Data School. And today I'll be telling you about 40 job opportunities that a data analyst can apply for. Now, each of those 40 jobs can earn you well over £30,000 per annum. Okay, so join me while I show you some of the 40 jobs that a data analyst can apply for. I'll just share my screen with you. So I'm Sophie from Vogue IT Data School. We're a school that teaches people how to become data analysts and how to improve their income with data analytic skills. So today I'm going to be talking about 40 job opportunities for data analysts. Now, before we get into the video, I would like to tell you who is a data analyst, because some of you are completely new to data analysis and you don't know much about it. Well, a data analyst is simply someone who interprets and analyzes data and then presents his findings to management or stakeholders in the company. So you'll be collecting data with various database softwares. You'll analyze the data and present them in reports. Those reports will then be presented to management. And these reports help management to make decisions about the day-to-day running of the company, and also helps them to make decisions about the future. Now, as you can see that the job of a data analyst, it looks quite simple and straightforward. It's not complicated. We at Vogue IT Data School, we like to simplify things for you. Now, there's a lot of jobs and processes in between on what you do to the data, but we teach you all in a very nice and simplified way, so it's not hard to get. So basically, a data analyst analyzes data and uses it to prepare reports for the management of the company. Why learn data analytics? Simple. Then you can learn data analytics because it's a very high growth area. There's a lot of demand for data analysts because the volume of data that companies are processing every day, it's growing exponentially. Since the 90s, the amount of data that companies have to deal with on a daily basis is just growing so rapidly that we need a lot of people to help us analyze it. Companies need a lot of people to help them tell them what's going on with the data. Are they making sales? Are they losing money? Are they improving money? What's going on? So basically everything you do on your computer screen generates data. When you go to a website and click on a page, there's data about it, how long you spent on the website, things like that. And when you go to the shop and do your shopping, there's data. Everything you buy is recorded. How often you buy it is recorded. Who bought it is recorded. Imagine like your Tesco Club card, all that information about your spending and your buying habits is collected, and we need data analysts to analyze it, and then the company will use it for promos and for other things that help them to make more money. Okay, so it's a very high growth area. There's a lot of demand for data analysts currently in the UK and worldwide. There's also a lot of varied technologies that you can learn in regards to data analysis. But the good thing about data analysis is that once you understand the fundamentals about it and you know how to use 3 or 4 database programs, then you can apply that knowledge to other ones. Okay, so if you come to our school and we teach you the 4 database, the 4 data analytics tools that we use, once you learn that, you can apply that knowledge to other data analytic tools. Okay? You can also work in different industries. Data analysis is not industry specific. That means you could work in construction, finance, healthcare, NHS, retail, banking, even in schools, etc. That's why you have a very high chance of getting a job as a data analyst, because you're not tied down to one industry. Okay, I'll give you my example. I started off in the health insurance sector, and then I moved to the fire service, 2 totally unrelated industries, but what they have in common is data. Okay, so also the skills that you learn as a data analyst are highly transferable. They overlap with so many other different types of job types. For example, you can you can become a project manager, you can become a business analyst, you can progress to a data scientist, you can progress to a data engineer. You know, there's almost, you can use data in almost any type of professional career nowadays. Even as a manager, you need data. You need to be able to interpret your company's data. You need to be able to show your company that you're making profit or you're losing money. You know, you need to be able to interpret data on your website. If you have a social media account, you need to be able to interpret the data on that account and things like that. So the skills of a data analyst are highly transferable. You can transfer those skills to different jobs and different industries. Another reason to learn data analytics is that there's a very low barrier to entry. You don't have to have a degree in data analytics to work as a data analyst. Once you can show and document that you know what you're doing as a data analyst, you can answer questions, you can use the softwares, then you can get a job as a data analyst. Okay, so the barriers to entry are quite low, and that makes it the perfect career for somebody who is thinking of making a career change. Maybe if you're older and you're thinking of making a career change, it's suitable for you. Or if you're a young person and you're just trying to get into the industry, it is also a suitable job to go into. It also means that you can learn it even without much previous job experience. You can learn it, okay? So low barriers to entry. So let's go into it. 40 job opportunities for data analysts. Like I said at the beginning of this webinar, each of these jobs can earn you well above £30,000 per year in the UK as a permanent job. If you're doing contract jobs, you could probably be earning about 300 or more a day, depending on where you're based in the UK and also your experience. But I can confidently tell you that you can earn at least £30,000 per annum for each of these jobs. And this is fantastic because if you look at the statistics now, gov.uk recently did a poll and you find that only about 21% of people living in the UK actually earn £30,000 or more. So we want you to increase your income, and this is going to help you to be able to purchase a house, to be able to have more disposable income, and to be able to just live a good life and have money to save and do other things with. Okay, so let's go into this 40 job opportunities for data analyst. So the first on the list is data analyst. You can become a data analyst if you study data analysis. So you can apply for a job as a data analyst in any company, and you should be able to get £30,000 for that. The next one is a business intelligence analyst. So this too is similar to a data analyst, but with this, in some companies, they want you to kind of analyze the data and also make recommendations to the company on what they can do, maybe to improve their sales or to save time, things like that. So that there's not much difference between a data analyst and a business intelligence analyst, but some companies have different job descriptions. So it might just be a slight difference. You could also be a trainer. If you study as a data analyst, number 3, you could train other people. You could consult. If you have a company trying to set up a database, they could hire you as a consultant for you to come in and talk to them and teach them how they can set up their database and their data warehouse to make it more efficient and to generate the reports that they want. You can also go on to become a data scientist. So that's number 4. Data scientist is similar to a data analyst, but for a data scientist, we're adding predictive elements. You're going to learn how to use data to kind of predict what's going to happen in the future, how that business is going to grow, what will happen. So you need to learn extra things like Python and how to do algorithms, things like that. But as a data analyst, you can easily progress to become a data scientist and earn a lot more money. Okay, data scientists can earn up to £50,000 or more a year. You can also become a data engineer. Now, the data engineer is in charge of setting up databases, is in charge of setting up the infrastructure for a database or data warehousing, things like that. So you can progress to a data engineer as a data analyst. You can also become a quantitative analyst, which you're also analyzing the quantities of stock in the warehouse or chemicals, things like that. It also depends on the company. Some companies will ask for a quantitative analyst. It's quite similar to a data analyst. You can become an operations analyst for big companies like, let's say, Sainsbury's, Argos. They have fleets of vehicles coming in and going, fleets of trucks coming and going, fleets. There's so much that it goes into operating their shops and operating the business, and that's where you come into it. You can help them to make reports on everything that has to do with their operations, and let them be able to tell where each truck is at which point, how much distance do your trucks travel, even have things to do with the staff, how long do they have to drive, things like that. So that's what an operations analyst would do. The next one is a marketing analyst. Also, you could work in the marketing department of a big company, and then you'll be looking at how they spend their marketing budget, what profits did they make with each marketing budget. You could be looking at social media campaigns, how much did they spend, how much did they get, how many views did they receive, how many sales did they make, things like that. So you analyze it so that in the future, the company can use that data to predict the success of their next campaign and things like that. Project manager, yeah, you could be working on data projects and any other project in general, because all projects need data. You need to be able to say what point that project is at and what's needed, how long will it take for the project to finish, how much money is needed for it to finish, what are the different steps needed to do. So as a data analyst, you could easily go into project management, especially if it has to do with data-based projects. For example, you could have a project to set up a database for a company. Another one is the transport logistic analyst. Yeah, that's self-explanatory for big companies that have a lot of transport vehicles, companies that have a lot of trucks and a lot of vehicles coming in and going. So you could help them analyze the data regarding their transportation fleet. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Statistician. Yes, data analysis is closely linked to the world of statistics. Okay, so that's another career that you could progress into. You could progress into statistics, to becoming a statistician. Number 12 is machine learning analyst. Machine learning is another area of data analyst with more, you might need to learn a bit more about, some softwares and all, but that is how to program machines for them to sort of learn from you. The more you use these machines, they learn from you, and then they adapt and improve. So that's another career you could go into as a data analyst. You could also become a management information system reporting executive. So MIS stands for Marketing Information System. So you could be in charge of providing reports for the management of the company to help them know what's happening in different aspects of the company. Let them see like daily sales, weekly sales, monthly sales, profits, number of returns, things like that. That's something you could look into. You could also become a big data executive with some experience. You could learn how to work in big data. Big data is for companies that handle millions and millions and millions of rows of data. Companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook. So you could progress to big data analyst or executive and learn how to handle massive amounts of data. Okay? You could also become a IoT developer. IoT stands for Internet of Things. So that also has to do with lots of data that's being collected from all our devices that are hooked up to the internet. So they're collecting like your laptops, you have some automated cars, you have some automated fridges and other devices, and we're collecting so much data from all those things. We need somebody to analyze it. So that is a job that a data analyst can go for with time. A data visualization analyst. So your data visualization is simply just making charts and graphs and interpreting data in a way that is easy to understand at first glance. Okay, you don't need to study too hard. If you just look at the graph, you can tell what's happening. Is the sales going up or coming down? Are we losing money? Are we making money? So that's some people, depending on the company, some people's jobs is just to make nice graphs and visualizations for companies. Okay, so that's an area you can specialize in. The next one is a SQL developer. Now, SQL is one of the database query languages used. Is one of the most popular one. And if you know how to use it, you have a very good chance of getting a good job that pays well over £30,000. So you'll be using SQL to develop reports and to query the database and get data and information from your database. Also closely related is the SQL Finance Assistant. So this will be like in a financial institution, you'll be using SQL to help them analyze their expenses and income and or every other financial detail that they need in the company. There's a SQL database administrator or manager. So SQL is a database, while the SQL language is what we use to query that database. So you could be in charge of setting up that database or just managing the database, making sure that there's no data is lost. Everything, all your backups and checkups are carried on regularly and safely, things like that. So that's another job for a data analyst, SQL database administrator or manager. The next one is the Power BI developer. Now, Power BI is one of the most powerful data visualization tools on the market now. It's such a nice and easy tool to use, and a lot of companies are switching to Power BI. So if you know how to use Power BI, that is a big advantage for you, and you can get a job earning well over £30,000 as a Power BI developer. So that just means you help the company to develop reports on Power BI that they can use to, assess, analyze the business and make decisions. Okay. So there's a Power BI analyst. Next one is a Power BI developer. So you set up the Power BI program for them and set all their reports and all. Also, Power BI architect also means that depends on how big the company is. So for some companies, you might just need a simple one report or two reports, but for very big companies, then the setup for Power BI, it's going to require a lot more thought and a lot more structure. And that's where you might need a Power BI architect to help you set Power BI up properly and set up all the different reports and all the different authorizations and profiles for your Power BI application. Next one is a customer insight analyst. Okay, so a lot of companies, they use profiles for their customers. They profile their customers into different categories, and then using those categories, they target sales and advertising at those customers. Okay, so that's why sometimes when you're on Facebook or on the internet, you seem to find adverts that are things that you're interested in, because that company has profiled you and then know that, okay, this a middle-aged woman, a woman with kids, these are the type of things you might be looking for, or a certain man just before the game, these are the type of things you might be looking for. You might be looking for some beer or something, or they know that at this specific time in the year, certain products are popular to a certain group of people and they target those group of people. Those are some of the insights that a customer insight officer, customer insight analyst will be looking into and producing for the company. Next one is your web analytics. So for companies with a very large online presence, companies which operate mainly online, maybe like companies like Amazon and all, companies where they sell mostly through their website, and they need web analysts to help them analyze how many visits they have to the company, how long you spent on the website, what do you look at when you first come to the website, how long does it take you to decide to buy something, just all sorts of analysis on the website to help them improve their sales and make better sales. The next one is 25 insurance underwriting analyst. Yes, you can work in the insurance industry as a data analyst. So as you're aware, if you've ever tried to get insurance here in the UK, there's several questions that they ask you, and each of those questions put you in a specific income insurance bracket. Okay, so depending on your age, depending on your sex, depending on where you live, there are several calculations made to help the insurance company decide how much premium you need to pay them, so that if anything happens, they don't have much of a loss. Okay, so this is what the insurance underwriting analyst works at. They help companies to calculate how much they should charge people as premium so that they can cover all expenses in case of any accidents. Your credit analyst, yes, similar to insurance underwriter, these work for credit reference companies. In the UK, we have a lot of credit reference companies that tell you what your credit score is. And when you're applying for credit, they do a calculation to see if you are eligible for that credit, to try and see what are the chances of you repaying that credit back, things like that. So there are data analysts working in companies like that, trying to analyze people's credit scores and people's credit worthiness. No. Next one is the social media data analyst. Yes, for influencers and people that are heavily dependent on their social media presence, maybe the Instagram influencers, Facebook influencers, maybe YouTube influencers. You need someone to analyze the data from your page and to tell you how you can improve your page, maybe how you can improve your likes, how you can improve your visits to your page, how you can improve your sales. So that is a data analyst that's specializing in the social media aspect of things, okay, social media data. Next one is a compensation and benefits analyst. That is also related to your insurance. When you have an accident, they calculate how much claim you're eligible for, like even life insurance, they make a calculation based on your premium, how much can you get if something happens to you, things like that. So these analysts help to calculate claims and compensations in various companies. An actuary analyst is also related to, I think it's related to a statistician. Okay, so that's another one. Also, fraud analytics. So you're analyzing the probability of fraud happening, and those might be factored into the amount of insurance you pay, things like that. Okay, I think it's also related to credit reference companies too. Let's move to the next. We got the business product analyst. So you're analyzing most likely a new product. You're analyzing what's the probability of this product selling based on maybe other similar sales. What's the probability of it selling? How much will it sell for? Trying to predict how well that business will do, business product will do, things like that. It's also related to project management and business analysis. You're a database developer. You're developing databases for big companies, helping them to set up their databases. Database administrator, you're just helping with the maintenance of the database. So somebody's already coming, usually a consultant, someone's coming and set up all the database, and you are just in charge of the day-to-day running of the database. You could also have a data security administrator, somebody who's in charge of all the security for the database, someone who's in charge of granting permissions and logons to people, someone in charge of making sure that the database is not hacked or anything serious like that happens to the database. We have a claims analyst that's also in the insurance industry. So a data analyst can also work as a claims analyst. A data architect, also it's somebody who comes to companies and sets up their database. Usually for large companies, you need someone to really go into much thought on how your database is structured and used. Then we have the reporting and data visualization developer. Yeah, that's somebody that you just specialize in making charts and visualizations for companies, for big companies. Also, surprisingly, companies like newspapers, they use a lot of data visualizations to produce nice charts and graphs for data. Even like recently when we had the COVID, you could see that when the Prime Minister was giving his talk, there were a lot of graphs and charts used to try and convince us of why we should go into lockdown. So that's some of the jobs of a data visualization developer. So somebody sat down and prepared all those charts and reports for them to use in the press conference. A finance system manager, okay? You also manage any financial software that some companies may have and help them to generate reports from them. And the last but not the least is you could go into gamification, okay? So data analysts can actually go into the field of developing games, computer software. You could go into that because a lot of games is dependent on probability and some calculation, and also that's one area you could go into. And if you're a young person, I think that's an interesting area for you. You could develop your skills further and go into gamification. So we have just gone through 40 job opportunities for data analysts. This is not an exhausted list. There's still so many other job roles and opportunities that a data analyst can go for. Data analysis is a highly versatile job. Like I said, you can work in so many different industries and with so many different job titles. So I'd like to encourage you to find out more about data analysis. You can visit our website at www.vogueit.co.uk. You can join me on my Instagram, which is at Data School Pro, where I'll be sharing more information about data analytics and encouraging you to learn data analytics. Also, we're on Facebook as at Data School Pro. So I look forward to hearing from you. If you like a free one-to-one consultation with me or a member of my team, click on the link below and then join me, or go to my website and go to the contact page and book your free consultation. So I'll be telling you more about how data analytics can help your career, especially if you're interested in earning over £30,000 or more in the UK. Yes, you can do it. I'll have a nice talk with you and show you how you can do it, and we'll map out your career for you, because we do want you to succeed. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.